At 3:42 a.m., the fairy tale shattered. Prince Harry wasn't walking into palace protection. He was running for his life, sprinting across a private runway as a secret briefing detonated his marriage, his mind, and his future as a father. This wasn't a royal return. This was an extraction gone wrong. Less than 24 hours after landing in Britain, Harry vanished again. Not escorted, not protected, not reassured. Alone, wide-eyed, boarding a Gulfstream that didn't point toward California comfort, but toward emergency interception. Something happened behind closed doors. Something so devastating that Harry chose chaos over safety. And it all began at Clarence House. Harry arrived believing he finally held the truth, documents, now whispers, a Rolodex of betrayals. He thought he was walking in with answers. He thought he was about to shock Prince William. He was wrong. William didn't flinch, didn't argue, didn't even read the file. Instead, he slid a single object across the table. Heavy, red, official, not the king's box, an intelligence box, stamped with one chilling mark, MI6. You think you know what she did, Harold? William reportedly said, voice stripped of emotion. That was the distraction. Inside that box wasn't gossip. It wasn't scandal. It was a threat assessment. 7 years of surveillance. 7 years of monitoring Meghan Markle. And what Harry read didn't reframe his marriage, it rewrote it. The file labeled medical intervention hit first. Emails, private communications, a concierge doctor in Los Angeles, not therapy, not wellness, chemistry, detailed discussions about pharmaceutical compliance, how to sedate without detection, how to soften resistance, how to suppress judgment. The timestamps aligned perfectly with Harry's fog years, the interviews, the repeating phrases, the vacant stare. The truth landed like a hammer. The confusion wasn't trauma, it was dosage. William laid out toxicology results from a hair sample Harry never realized was being analyzed. Sedatives, mood stabilizers, levels far beyond coincidence. She wasn't managing you, William told him. She was neutralizing you. Harry felt the floor tilt. The fog of the last 3 years suddenly had a shape, a reason, a plan. But that wasn't why he ran. The reason came next. Liquidation protocol, intercepted dark web chatter, shell companies, private charter bookings, a disappearing act already in motion. Meghan wasn't preparing for damage control, she was preparing to vanish. A flight manifest blinked on the page, Santa Barbara departure, tomorrow morning. Passengers listed, the Duchess and the children. Destination, Paraguay, a non-extradition jurisdiction. Remote, protected, final. William didn't sugarcoat it. If you stay here, he told his brother, you'll be safe, but you'll never see your children again. That sentence detonated everything. Harry realized that while he'd been in London pleading for clarity, bags were already being packed in California. Nannies briefed, security escalated, exit routes rehearsed. The meeting wasn't reconciliation, it was a briefing. And William didn't stop there. The dossier exposed the Citadel, a fortified compound quietly purchased months earlier through layered shell entities. 30,000 acres. Private airstrip, independent utilities, a fortress designed not for hiding, but for holding leverage, holding children, holding a king hostage through blood. That was the moment Harry stood up, not as the spare, not as the exile, as a father. Within hours, he was airborne again, fleeing Britain not from danger, but toward it, racing west to intercept the plan already in motion, a 3-hour window between landing and disappearance. As the jet crossed the Atlantic, Harry stared at charts, emails, timelines, his worst public moment suddenly sinking with chemical spikes. His marriage wasn't just manipulative, it was engineered. And the doctor? A Beverly Hills fixer known for managing high net worth clients. Supplements disguised as vitamins. Sedation sold as wellness. Harry realized he hadn't been rebelling against his family. He'd been sleepwalking through a script written by someone else. Then came the final reveal. Funding. Because Meghan was broke, the brand was dead. The deals were smoke, yet the jets, the compound, the mercenaries all paid in full. William showed him the bank trace, a legacy trust, old money, a grudge stretching back decades, a silent partner who didn't see Meghan as a wife, but as a weapon, a proxy designed to humiliate the crown by severing a prince from his children forever. As the Gulfstream descended into Los Angeles, Harry felt something unfamiliar burn through his chest. Clarity, rage, purpose. He wasn't going home to argue, he was going home to extract. But Montecito already knew. Eyes everywhere. Flight plans leaked, security shifted to lockdown. Multiple decoy convoys prepared to split and scatter. A shell game with children as the prize. Harry's phone rang mid-drive, the nanny, whispering. Terrified. They took my passport, she said. Sir, you have to hurry. Then the words that cracked him open, she's giving them the travel juice. The same stuff she gave you. The line went dead. At that moment, the story stopped being about marriage, money, or monarchy. It became a race against sedation, engines, and distance. Because if those wheels left the ground, they were gone forever. The clock didn't tick anymore, it hunted. Every red light felt like betrayal. Every slow driver felt complicit. The Audi tore through California asphalt as Harry understood the brutal math of the moment. Minutes decided fathers from memories, children from ghosts. Montecito wasn't a home anymore, it was a launch site. The closer he got, the clearer the trap became. Security patterns shifted. Roads blocked that were never blocked. SUVs idling where joggers usually smiled for paparazzi. This wasn't protection, it was extraction cover. Then it happened. A black SUV surged from a side road, cutting hard into his lane. No sirens, no plates. A precision move, not police, a blocker. The nightmare he'd lived as a child tried to replay itself. Speed, darkness, black metal closing in. But this time, he wasn't in the back seat. He was driving. Harry swerved, tires screamed, metal kissed concrete. Sparks flew as the Audi clipped the barrier, but he held it, forced the SUV wide, shoved it toward the shoulder, and punched forward. He didn't look back. 5 miles to the gate. Inside the estate, suitcases were already stacked, passports ready, nannies silenced. Decoy convoys revving engines like loaded dice. 3 routes, 1 truth. The children were sedated. Harry's phone buzzed again, the nanny, barely whispering now. "They said they'll hurt my family," she cried. "Sir, she's drugging them. They won't wake up." The words hit harder than any collision. She wasn't just running, she was smuggling. Harry floored it. The Audi hit speeds no suburban road was meant to see. Sirens wailed somewhere behind him, but they were irrelevant. This wasn't about traffic law. This was war in a cul-de-sac. As he rounded the final curve, the gates came into view, iron reinforced, barricaded by a tactical SUV angled like a shield. Lockdown mode. Harry didn't brake. The impact was thunder. Iron screamed. Stone cracked. The tactical vehicle spun. The gates tore from their hinges, and the Audi skidded into the drive in a cloud of smoke and steam. Airbags exploded. Harry kicked the door open and stumbled out, coughing, bleeding, alive. 4 men in tactical gear rushed forward, mercenaries, rifles raised, trained, and paid not to hesitate. Harry didn't raise his hands. He stepped toward them. "I am the Duke of Sussex," he roared. "If you fire that weapon, the consequences will erase your entire lives." For a moment, the world held its breath. They froze, because mercenaries understand risk, and killing a king's son on American soil is a career-ending decision. Weapons lowered. Harry ran. The front door was wide open, trunks scattered like evidence of a failed escape. And there she was, standing in the foyer, trench coat on, satellite phone in hand. Shock broke her face. "You weren't supposed to be here," she stammered. "The plane, where are they?" She lied, eyes flicking toward the stairs. "They're safe. We're going on a holiday." "You're not well, Harry. I know about the pills." The word Paraguay detonated between them. He took the stairs 2 at a time. The nursery door burst open. Darkness, curtains drawn, the air thick with synthetic lavender and chemical sweetness, the unmistakable scent of sedation. Archie and Lilibet lay dressed for travel, shoes on, coats zipped, motionless. Harry dropped to his knees. "Papa's here," he whispered, shaking Archie gently. No response. Breathing shallow. Limbs limp. Cargo. That's what they were meant to be. She appeared in the doorway, passports clutched tight. Calm returning. Calculated. "You can come with us," she said softly. "No press. No palace. Just us. The Citadel is ready." He lifted the children into his arms, all of his world unconscious and vulnerable. "There is no us," he said. "There's just you and the cell you're heading for." She blocked the door. "I screamed," she warned. "I called the police. I say you attacked me. I planned for this." Harry looked at her, really looked, and for the first time, she saw something she couldn't manipulate. "Resolve. Call them," he said. "Because I have the toxicology reports, the nanny's testimony, and the king on speed dial." She stepped aside. Outside, the mercenaries hesitated, unsure who they were protecting anymore. Harry walked past them, carrying the children into the open street. And then he heard it, the thump, the wind. A helicopter descended, black and unmarked dust spiraling around it. On the tail, a discreet emblem. Clearance. The door slid open. "Sir," a voice shouted. "Get in." He ran. As the helicopter lifted, Harry looked down. She stood in the road, screaming, but no sound reached him. The passports fell from her hands and scattered across the pavement. The protocol had failed. Hours later, a British Airways jet touched down at a secure annex of Heathrow. No terminal, no cameras. Waiting on the tarmac was a father who didn't wait for protocol. An embrace replaced 5 years of silence. The children were rushed to a private medical team. Detox, observation, care. Back in California, the lights finally came. Red, blue, Federal. The concierge doctor flipped. Emails handed over. Dosing schedules. Instructions written in her hand. The mansion that once buzzed with ambition stood hollow as agents moved in. And she walked out, not in couture, not in control, but in a bathrobe, wrists cuffed. The performance finally over. The simulation ended. This story didn't conclude with a speech or a statement. It ended with a toxicology report and a father who ran through fire to bring his children home, exactly as described in the source material. Described in the source material.